Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that, cuts through the noise to get you the insights from really unique sources. And today we've got something pretty extraordinary. It's simply called an untitled document. Now, this isn't your typical academic paper, not even a news article. It's raw, unvarnished, almost stream of consciousness. It gives this incredibly direct, unfiltered glimpse into a world many of us might only know from a distance. Its power is really in that directness. No pretense at all.
That's exactly it. And our mission today for this deep dive is to carefully unpack the layers of this text. Because while the language is, undeniably stark, maybe even shocking in places, we found these surprising nuggets of knowledge inside. Insights about a very specific time, a specific place, and importantly, a lived experience. So the goal isn't to judge. It's really about understanding the world and the perspective being shown here. Analyzing something vandal and varnished, it gives us a pretty rare chance for genuine understanding, I think.
Okay, let's dive in then. Let's unpack this document, starting with the main figure, Cordell. He's introduced right at the start as a young hustler, someone who paid they bills slanging dope, hanging on the corner with the rock cocaine. So you think, okay, I know this tithe. But then almost immediately, the document just flips that. It says he's also a real smart nigga, honest and nice. That contrast, it just hits you straight away. What does that initial paradox make us think about Cordell and his world?
Well, what's really fascinating there is how the source deliberately does that. It shows someone deep in illicit activities, right? Slanging dope, Glock on the hip. But then it gives him these really positive human qualities, honesty, niceness, intelligence. It forces you right from the start to move past simple black and white labels. It suggests that character, intelligence, even morality maybe, can show up in places you wouldn't expect. It complicates things.
Yeah, complicates it immediately.
And then there's that bit about authority. It says they knew him down at Vice, but had no hate. They let him operate and wasn't sweating the take.
Right, that line really stood out.
It's incredible, isn't it? It points to this complex, almost like pragmatic relationship between the street and maybe certain parts of law enforcement. It really challenges simple ideas about crime and justice. It shows this nuanced urban ecosystem where maybe informal rules, pragmatism, sometimes override the official laws. It's about survival, really.
That dynamic alone says so much, and the document doesn't just hint at things. It gets into the nitty-gritty, especially the economics. That really grounds it. It gives specific figures, almost like, a business report. A brick was 15 when OG was alive. Now a key is 32.5. And then it talks about serving nickels and dimes. What do those numbers, those terms actually tell us about the business side?
Oh, they're absolutely crucial. These figures give you the scale. When it says a brick was 15, it's almost certainly talking $15,000 probably for a kilo. And the jump to a key is 32.5, 32,500. That signals a huge price shift. Inflation, market changes, something significant happened after OG was alive.
So it's tracking real market changes.
Exactly. It's a volatile market. And then serving nickels and dimes, that brings you right down to the street level. Small retail sales.
Yeah.
So putting those together, you see the whole operation, from large wholesale bricks or keys down to individual dime bags. It shows an established, illegal, yes, but structured business. It functions like an enterprise just outside the law.
That paints such a complex picture right from the start. It definitely makes you want to dig deeper than the surface assumptions. And speaking of his world, the document really throws you into the daily life, the culture around Cordell. It talks about his dedication to the grind, calls him a top performer on the block, moving from a quarter to a whole one. So it's not just dealing, it's like professional pride, a work ethic within that context.
Absolutely. And that commitment comes through in the details, the cultural markers it lists. They paint such a vivid picture of the era, like the fashion, metal brim, hat, bling, four-fingered rings, khaki suits, and guest boots. No Chucks for me.
Right, very specific.
It's not just clothes, it's a statement, right? Status, ambition, maybe. Choosing suits and guest boots over, say, Chuck Taylor's. That says something about the image he's projecting.
Yeah, a different kind of aspiration.
And the drug culture details, they really date it. Dabs hadn't been invented, but that chronic was hitting. Today's weed ain't the same 90s. Reggie was different.
Oh, well, that pins it right to the 90s.
Clearly the 90s. Before concentrates like dabs were common. And mentioning Reggie, a specific type of maybe lower grade but common weed back then, even the drinks St. Ides and Bacardi, they root you firmly in that specific time and place.
It's those details, isn't it? They let you, the listener, build this really complete raw picture in your head, like stepping back in time. And the portrayal of women, it's just as blunt. What does that tell us about the social scene?
Yeah, those lines. Kicking it with the bitches, Liquor turned into strippers, ain't no Cinderellas, no glass slippers. They're incredibly stark. They give you this sobering look at maybe a transactional alcohol-fueled social dynamic. It's explicitly rejecting any kind of romantic fairy tale idea. It suggests a pretty harsh reality, maybe objectification, exploitation.
Hmm.
So you put it all together, the fashion, the specific drugs and drinks, these social dynamics, it paints this picture of an environment driven by, well, materialism, maybe immediate gratification, a set of norms really detached from mainstream society. Appearances matter, pleasure is key, maybe traditional morals don't really apply in the same way.
Okay, shifting focus a bit now. The document absolutely does not shy away from the violence, the intensity of that reality. It even describes run-ins with police, like when Cordell gets stopped by the motherfucking popo. But his reaction is, cool, Cordell don't sweat, Cordell stay clean. Ask the cop what he needs, then you serve him some weed. How does that interaction, followed by the really graphic descriptions of violence, shape our understanding of the rules here?
Well, connecting back, Cordell's coolness with the police, that's another part of that paradox we talked about earlier. He's not panicked. He's calm, confident, even audacious, right? Offering the cop weed.
Right.
It suggests maybe some established understanding or just a cynical grasp of the unspoken rules govern those encounters. But then, yeah, the narrative pivots hard to this almost clinical description of survival. The violence descriptions are precise, chillingly so. Enemies come through, they drive by, we shoot too, make them find a heaven before they hit the intersection. Kill a 187, run the pockets 211.
Using the penal codes.
Exactly. Using 187 for murder, 211 for robbery. Those are California penal codes.
Yeah.
It shows this weird, deep knowledge of the system they're actively defying. It paints a world where violence isn't just possible, it's a calculated, maybe even routine response.
And it's not just general violence, is it? The descriptions are so strategic, almost technical.
Oh, absolutely. The language is incredibly deliberate. It goes on, move the fuck a vest, we ain't aiming for your chest. On some Midwest mess, we about that hunting T-zone focus, squeeze don't pull it, yellow jacket bullets, hollow points for the scoop move.
Wow.
It's not random anger, it's tactical, lethal. T-zone focus means aiming for the head. Mentioning specific ammo like yellow jacket bullets, hollow points, those are designed for maximum damage. And the line, if I'm putting in the work, we need more than a flesh wound. There's zero ambiguity there. The intent is finality, elimination.
It's cold.
It is. It highlights this professional, almost cold-blooded approach to conflict. Effectiveness is everything. And then that line, blacklist bitch, we make chess moves. That's key.
Chess moves.
Yeah. It frames it not as impulsive reaction, but as calculations, strategy, thinking steps ahead. It suggests it's survival, getting ahead in this world. It's about outmaneuvering your opponents, like chess. Even in chaos, there's this ruthless logic dictating who wins.
It's incredibly stark. A world where that kind of strategy and ruthlessness are just necessary for survival, for dominance. No room for mistakes. So where does this all lead? Especially as the text shifts near the end. It hints at personal change, maybe the author looking back. There's that line that really changes the viewpoint. Before I was dad, Cordell had it bad. Wishing for the shit that the other niggas had. Stuck in mama's pad mad. Too many rules, too many chores, and fuck curfew. That feels like a huge shift. A past life, a struggle, maybe a big transition for the narrator.
That shift is so significant. It raises a big question, right? What does that evolution from being Cordell, who had it bad, to being dad actually mean? It points to a deep personal journey. Coming of age, maybe escaping those old restrictions, finding a new kind of agency.
Moving beyond that pass.
Exactly. And then when the author declares, serving up words till I turn into a bird and take a shit on you illiterate idiots, that's powerful. And provocative.
Definitely provocative.
Is it a metaphor? Moving from the physical street hustle to a verbal one. Are words the new product being served up for power? The bird image suggests freedom, maybe looking down from above contemptuously on those left behind or those who don't understand. It feels like the author has found a new way to exert influence, maybe through art, through writing, transforming the grind from the street to the page, perhaps. There's a complex way of defining oneself now.
And then it ends with these incredibly confrontational lines. They're impossible to just brush aside. They seem aimed right at the reader.
So absolutely, the final lines are just blunt, a direct challenge to critics maybe, or just an uninterested audience, aggressive even. And all that aiding that you do, and you have bad dreams, son. We out here timing, you fighting demons, get yourself together, take a nap and come back.
He's basically saying, while you're struggling, we're making moves.
Precisely. We out here timing while you fighting demons. And then that line, it's the woke keeping you broke. But you don't know that. It dismisses the listener's potential struggles or viewpoints as distractions, maybe misguided ideology, the woke keeping you broke,
Mhm.
while the author is busy succeeding, making those strategic chess moves.
Huh.
And the ending. Pat you on the back. Yeah, you cats need rest. I'm trying to fuck you, Mom. Take your ass to bed. I mean, it's pure provocation. It's
Yeah.
a mic drop. It's asserting dominance, intellectually, socially, maybe financially, declaring they're operating on a whole different, more effective level. It's the final, unfiltered statement of their worldview and their success, however they define it.
It really is an unvarnished glimpse right to the very last word, as raw and direct as everything that came before. So we've taken quite a journey today through this untitled document. It really gave us this raw, specific, unapologetic look into a life. It offered insights you just don't get from more polished stories. You get a real feel for the time, the place, the mindset. It definitely challenged assumptions.
And that really highlights the power of these unfiltered narratives, doesn't it? How does hearing something this candid challenge how we usually think about truth or perspective or even transformation? This source, with its bluntness, its detail, it forces us to face uncomfortable things, to consider the complex ways people live and navigate worlds very different from our own. It really demands that we try to understand rather than just judge quickly.
So here's something to think about as you go. How does encountering a voice this direct, this unvarnished, change the way you approach understanding a world that isn't your own? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.